Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on with our derivation. What is the natural definition of sensorality? So we're continuing through our analytical steps just to arrive at our direct definition to stabilize the syllability of sensorality. So nothing really at the front of my mind, just starting off with our derivation steps. Containment is confinement. So what we're doing with this reduction, again, is bounding our linguistics. Again, what is sensorality? And all of these different numeric limits. 2 are fundamental stability. Our fundamental base has a numerical component of 2. Our fundamental kind of like stability iteration range is 7. But we're reducing all of the conceptualization and all of that representation we can put forth with letters. We are confining, we are containing, we are defining sensorality. Confinement defines. Natural definition, direct iteration of the word fine, which is a form of finite. Finite is confined. Sensorality contains contamination. Sensorality is self-centered. Sensorality is the velocity of density. What is reducibility to reproducibility? Emphasizing that naturally I spelled reproducibility, again with the full word ability, the A to the I. So again, we can ask kind of this more generalized question. And we have this inversion, E is our base, A is our inverse. But when we go from E to A, we're generalizing, at least I think so, because we're going back chronologically in this consolidation of information, the English alphabet. And so how do we, going from reproducibility to reproducibility spelled correctly with the I in there? Like, what is this A to I iteration? So what we're doing is we're showing a complete iteration of syllability with sensorality. Moving along. Sensorality reproduces. Sensorality is reproducibility. That's where I spelled it correctly after looking it up. Reproducibility is the ability to reproduce. Life reproduces. Is syllability reproducible? Right? What is plagiarism? Moving along. Reproducibility replicates. Repliability replicate. Emphasizing the syllability is the same, R-E-P-L-I, and then it iterates, changes. Sensorality is replicationality. What is sensation to replication? Sensorality is responsible reproduction, or as the kids used to call it, safe sex. Work is productive. Sex is reproductive. What is sex to work? Sensorality is how sex works. Productive is useful. Produce, use. What is productivity to multiplication? Right? It's the dot product. It's the multiplication attack. What is multiplication to production? Replicate, repute. Sensorality is reputable. Reputation is reputable. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is reputationality. Law is good. Math is good. Math is law. Law is allowed. Direct iteration, natural definition. Allowance is payment. Is an allowance an annuity? Is an allowance a stipend? What is pay to productivity? Are syllables productive? What is pay to money? What is payment to momentum? What is money to momentum? What is force to consent? Sensorality forces consent. Enforcement forces. Law enforcement forces consent. Sensorality is consentiality. Sensorality is sensuality. What is a filler to a filter? Again, emphasizing the only difference is geometric there, kind of like month, mouth, but a different type of, again, geometry change. We cross, right, filler, filter. Sensorality is sociology. And so that is a renormalization. What is sensorality? Holistically, conceptually, sociology. Sensorality is sociality. And speciality, sociality, I know we've hit that before. Sociality is speciality, natural definition, direct iteration. So sometimes I hit them as dichotomistic pairs, sometimes I expand them out into theorems, but overall it feels, I was just even watching another episode of Fraudulent Criminal Terence Teo talk about mathematics. Again, he's never really proven anything in his whole life. Proof is proof. You have to root all of your logic back to the identity statement. It is what it is, but Terence doesn't know the structure of logic, so that's kind of difficult for him to do. But I was watching him getting treated with dignity and respect, and people sitting there and listening to him talk about mathematics. And he's kind of saying stuff about this AI environment. I'll make a whole nother video. I have some more to say on that. But specifically, he's talking about, an AI can generate a proof where people can't really talk about it or they don't really know what's going on. And then, it might spur on some auxiliary or ancillary proofs that people can talk about or that people can talk about later once they digest, is the verbiage he's using in this talk, to understand the proofs. And in reality, like what I'm doing here, because you can see me hit the same dichotomistic pairs, like I know specifically we've said sociality is speciality before. It's too obvious of a word form, but I think, again, the linguistics get produced and it's this refinement process. So you always have the answers available before you catch up to the logic, even if with human-derived proofs as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm demonstrating that explicitly. Like I will say something as a theorem or as a dichotomistic pair, and then a week later, 2 weeks later, whatever, it becomes more of the conceptual integration of how this relates to other words, how this is a verification of an operation, an operator, something to the more analytical tool generalized effect. So I think in general, right, like all like data is like trailing indication. And then you just have to kind of like catch up. Your logic has to catch up with the data. And I think that's true for all of language. But moving along with our derivation, because again, I'm not a real scientist yet, just Terence Teo, who's literally never proven anything, because the entire field of mathematics is like, I don't even know what mathematics is, and spells out thematics right in front of your face. You're like, wow, really smart people out there. Moving along. Repetition reproduces. As a natural definition, direct iteration. Come on, Gussie, hey. And so, you guys can know out there, I was going to pause the video, but nah. Because if you're watching this, you're one of those dickheads in academia. I don't have an office to work in. Again, I'm not smart like Terence. Gussie, come on. Repetition reproduces. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is repetition to competition? Emphasizing the word forms, base. Again, I don't even know if this is a base now, right? The whole word is not contained within the syllability structure. But petition is a full, complete word, and the prefix is changing. Sensorality is unconscionable. Sensorality is conscientiality. So sufficientiality, conscientiality. Again, emphasizing the same type of logic, linguistic, seeming inconsistency. In the same way, is 7 even? Right? We have it's conscious. Conscience is again morality of consciousness. conscious. However you spell consciousness, that isn't conscience. But then we have the word unconscionable, which is spelled closer to just consciousness with the O, not the conscience. And so worth pointing that out. Again, what is consistent? What is being preserved? Sensorality is scientiality or scientiality. Natural definition, direct iterations, the spellings will be on your screen. Sensorality confiscates. Confiscating seizes. Confiscate, contemplate. Consciousness contemplates. Restating the fundamental theorem of geometry, shapes are signals. Right? Shapes indicate something. They signal. What is a signal to a diagonal? Emphasizing the word forms. Is grief good? Good grief. What is realization to stabilization? Right, we want to stabilize the definition of sensorality. Well, Brad, you dumb fuck, you have to realize what it is first. Derive, realize, analyze, realize. Again, again, like that felt like a form of analytical structure, not just like a t-shirt slogan you should put for merch or something. Again, providing you any insight I have at any point in this derivation. What is stabilization to sensorization? Sensorality is sensorizationality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Again, emphasizing here that, again, sensorality and sensorizationality is the same up into the sensor and then the Y. Again, some sort of this derivation, it's like forcing the internal parts of the syllability. What is realization to rationalization? What is rationalization to radicalization? Radicalization is sensorized. Sensorality theorizes theme. Geometry is sensory. You can feel shapes. You can feel signals. What is geometry to velocity? What is geometry to viscosity? Right, we're finding some sort of natural inversion, and we have our rigorous inverses: velocity, viscosity, energy, entropy, rhythm, vibration. Yeah, just moving along. What is viscosity to elasticity? Sensorality is elasticality. Vibration is elastic. Fundamental definition or fundamental theorem of physics. And vibration is not movement. Elasticality, elasticity, describes deformability. Can it return to its starting form, place? Right? And the mass is the form, which is like the position. And so, yeah, that was a big one. Vibration is elastic. Elastic is not energetic, right? Elasticity does not have movement potential. That's what elasticity is. Elastic, energetic. Sensorality is elasticality. Again, I just wrote the same one. Now I did elasticality. I think it was just spelling error. Sensorality is elasticality. Is plastic elastic? Does elastic last? Direct iteration. Reply, replay. Direct iteration. Again, just adding the A. Sensorality replays. Rewind, then replay. Hey, replay that film, bro. Oh, we have to rewind it first. Don't forget our chronology, Brad. Oh, good point, good point. Replaying runs it back. Oh, Brad, you solved speciality and demonstrated the form of all of language before. You don't even need to do it again. Adam, my old neighbor, why are you still even doing anything? Because nobody's paid me, you dickhead. And I'm presenting in a nice jovial tone. That's because you guys are super criminals. And as soon as the law makes sense, we're just going to enforce it. But for now, we're going to run it back. Here's sensorality. Here's another fundamental inversion of your conceptualization, proven with linguistics, completely. But again, it's just profound and extensive torture. I'm seeking asylum. I have been so for over 10 years. My rights are violated so profoundly that the law is as real as Santa Claus. Actually, I think law is less real than Santa Claus. But nobody cares, so there are no values. Ordinality is degree. Sensorality is degree. Sensorality decrees. Velocity is rapidity. Right, last time we said velocity is rapid movement. Again, pairing it to its conceptual usage. Somebody says, oh, that's got some velocity on it. You're watching a sports game like baseball because what do grown men and women do besides sit around and play games all day? Because that's what maturity does, is just fucking play games all day. Oh, that fastball had a lot of velocity on it. Was Johnny saying it was slow? No, he was saying it was fast because it's a fastball and has velocity on it. Because velocity is fast, which is rapid movement. And so velocity is rapidity. Rapidity, pity. Rapid is quick. What is a degree to a career? That's a fun one to end on. Because all of you hardworking Americans out there with degrees, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8 of the United States Constitution protects my right, or supposed to my writings and discoveries. If you've gone to an educational structure, an institution issuing degrees or licensures since 2017, you have stolen intellectual property at the highest level to benefit your career. You are part of the RICO criminal prosecution. Congratulations, that's an exciting announcement for all of the people that have been benefiting from any academic institution worldwide. It's just remember, when you're going into that department store to bring 1,000 friends so you don't feel like you're the one stealing, and we can all put that on Fox News and say that's terrible. But if you go into an academic institution and steal the most fundamental realizations that have ever existed, because what you've not been aware of, at least if you're some random person on YouTube, which nobody's watching this shit, but the form of logic has already been disseminating through our species for 10 years now. It's just not public, but it's a physical inevitability. So that's exciting stuff. We were so stupid and arrogant, we said, hey, that guy that can prove everything in like 5 seconds, we're gonna throw his life away. Wow. Now for all of history and all of eternity and all of scientific progress into the future, you guys can just sit back and say, wow, we committed crime instinctually, we gave 0 fucks, we tortured another person, we destroyed his health, we destroyed his property, we ruined his ability to have his own family, we destroyed his reputation to the point where his parents' family can't literally love him. That's exciting stuff. That's always a fun one. Hometown favorite. But nobody gives a shit because there is no law enforcement. That is what I have for right now. Again, obviously I have no rights. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.